Morning prayer is not a religious routine. It is a strategic meeting with your Creator before you meet your calendar. When you wake up and surrender your day, you are not becoming passive. You are positioning yourself under divine authority. Many people rush into their day carrying burdens they were never designed to carry. They fight battles in their minds, in their workplaces, in their relationships, exhausting energy that should have been preserved for purpose. When you begin your morning with prayer, you declare that you are not the ultimate source of your strength. You align yourself with wisdom greater than your experience. And alignment is everything. A misaligned wheel wastes fuel. A misaligned life wastes time. Prayer corrects alignment before the day begins. Let God fight for you. That does not mean you avoid responsibility. It means you stop wrestling with anxiety. It means you obey instructions instead of reacting emotionally. Many of your battles are distractions sent to derail your focus. When you pray, you receive clarity. And clarity protects time. Time is your most valuable earthly resource. You cannot maximize time if you are emotionally drained by unnecessary conflict. Morning prayer filters your priorities. It separates urgency from importance. It gives you the discipline to say no to what does not serve your assignment. Peace is not weakness. It is power under control. When God fights for you, He fights through wisdom, through favor, through open doors, through closed doors that protect you from error. Sometimes the battle is won not by confrontation, but by restraint. The greatest warfare you will ever experience is internal. Doubt, fear, impatience. Prayer disarms these enemies before they grow strong. Faith is not denial of problems. It is confidence in divine sovereignty. Start every morning declaring, this day is ordered. My steps are guided. My battles are handled. When you surrender the fight, you gain focus. When you release control, you gain direction. When you trust, you save time. And when God fights for you, you are free to build, to create, to lead, and to fulfill your purpose without distraction. Prayer is alignment before it is asking. Most people approach prayer as a shopping list, a moment to present requests, problems, and personal desires. But prayer was never designed to begin with demands. It begins with positioning. Alignment means adjusting your thoughts, your will, your emotions, and your intentions to match divine order. It is the conscious decision to say, not my way, but the higher way. Before you speak about what you want, you must first understand who you are and whose authority you stand under. When something is out of alignment, it creates friction. A door that is misaligned makes noise. A vehicle that is misaligned wastes fuel. In the same way, a life that is misaligned wastes time, energy, and opportunities. Prayer corrects that misalignment. It brings your perspective back into focus. It reminds you that you are not the ultimate source of wisdom, power, or control. And that realization is not weakness, it is strength under authority. Alignment in prayer shifts your priorities. Instead of asking for success, you seek guidance. Instead of demanding outcomes, you ask for clarity. Instead of fighting battles in your own strength, you submit to a strategy greater than your experience. This posture protects you from unnecessary struggles. Many frustrations are born from insisting on your own timing and methods. Alignment teaches patience and discipline. True prayer begins with listening. It is a recalibration of your inner compass. It silences ego and amplifies purpose. When your heart is aligned, your decisions become sharper, your reactions become calmer, and your actions become more effective. You stop chasing distractions because you are anchored in direction. Asking comes after alignment. Requests have power when they flow from understanding and trust. When you align first, you pray with confidence, not desperation. You move through the day with assurance, not anxiety. Alignment transforms prayer from a ritual into a strategy, from emotional relief into divine positioning. And when you are properly aligned, everything else falls into its rightful place. Surrender activates divine strategy. It is not the language of defeat. It is the posture of wisdom. The world teaches you to grip tighter, to control outcomes, to force results through pressure and persistence. But surrender is not about giving up effort. It is about releasing control over what was never yours to manage. There is a difference between responsibility and control. Responsibility is your assignment. Control belongs to a higher authority. When you surrender, you step out of anxiety and into trust. Anxiety is born from the illusion that everything depends on you. Trust recognizes that you have a role to play, but you are not the ultimate architect of the outcome. Surrender shifts you from emotional reaction to strategic obedience. It quiets the noise of fear so you can hear instruction clearly. Divine strategy does not operate through panic. It operates through order. Many people delay progress because they insist on fighting battles in their own strength. They react impulsively, speak prematurely, and move without direction. Surrender slows you down long enough to receive guidance. It prevents you from wasting time on conflicts that are distractions rather than assignments. When you surrender your pride, you gain perspective. When you surrender your timeline, you gain patience. When you surrender your need to prove yourself, you gain peace. That peace becomes your advantage. It allows you to respond instead of react, to act with clarity instead of confusion. Surrender also exposes what truly matters. It aligns your actions with purpose rather than pressure. You begin to see closed doors not as rejection, but as protection. You recognize delays not as denial, but as preparation. Strategy often unfolds in silence, in restraint, in moments where doing less accomplishes more. The greatest victories are often won before the battle appears, through alignment and obedience. Surrender positions you to receive insight beyond your experience. It activates solutions you could not design on your own. And when divine strategy is at work, you stop striving endlessly and start moving intentionally, confident that every step is ordered and every battle is already accounted for. Time is maximized when priorities are spiritual first. Time does not expand for anyone. It is fixed, measured, and impartial. What changes is how you use it. When your priorities are misplaced, time feels short, pressured, and overwhelming. But when your foundation is spiritual alignment, time becomes organized, intentional, and productive. The issue is not the amount of time you have. It is the order in which you live. Putting spiritual priorities first is not about neglecting responsibilities. It is about establishing the correct source of direction before action begins. If you start your day reacting to messages, demands, and deadlines without first grounding yourself in purpose, you surrender control of your schedule to external forces. You become busy but not necessarily effective. Busyness without alignment is motion without progress. When spiritual discipline leads, clarity follows. Clarity eliminates confusion. Confusion wastes time. A spiritually anchored mind makes decisions faster because it understands what truly matters. You stop entertaining distractions because your values filter your choices. Every yes and every no becomes intentional. Spiritual priority also strengthens internal stability. Many people lose hours to worry, frustration, comparison, and emotional battles. These invisible conflicts drain energy more than physical labor. When your spirit is settled, your emotions are disciplined. You are less reactive, less distracted, and less vulnerable to unnecessary drama. That alone saves enormous amounts of time. Purpose flows from spiritual understanding. When you know why you exist, you become selective about how you spend your minutes. You guard your schedule. You protect your focus. You understand that time is a resource entrusted to you, not something to waste proving yourself to others. Starting with spiritual alignment does not slow you down. It accelerates effectiveness. It orders your steps before you take them. It positions you to work smarter, not just harder. When priorities are spiritual first, your actions carry intention, your decisions carry weight, and your day carries direction. And when your day has direction, time is no longer your enemy, it becomes your servant. Peace is a weapon against pressure. Pressure is designed to force reaction. It pushes you to speak too quickly, decide too emotionally, and act without clarity. But peace disrupts that cycle. Peace is not the absence of difficulty. It is the presence of control in the middle of it. It is the strength to remain steady when circumstances are unstable. Pressure tries to shrink your vision. It magnifies problems and minimizes possibilities. It convinces you that urgency is more important than wisdom. But peace restores perspective. It reminds you that not every loud situation deserves an immediate response. It teaches restraint. And restraint is power. When you operate from peace, you think clearly. Clear thinking produces better decisions. Better decisions save time, energy, and reputation. Many battles escalate because someone reacted under pressure instead of responding with composure. Peace prevents unnecessary conflict. It allows you to choose strategy over emotion. Peace also protects your focus. Pressure scatters attention. It pulls you into side issues and distractions. A peaceful mind stays anchored to purpose. It recognizes what truly matters and refuses to be manipulated by noise. This is not weakness, it is disciplined strength. Anyone can react. It takes maturity to remain calm. Internally, peace stabilizes your confidence. Pressure often triggers self-doubt. It whispers that you are not prepared, not capable, not ready. But peace silences those voices. It anchors your identity beyond the moment. When you know who you are and whose authority you operate under, pressure loses its control. Peace slows the heart rate, sharpens perception, and strengthens endurance. It allows you to endure long-term challenges without burning out. It becomes your shield against panic and your guide toward wise action. Pressure is temporary, but decisions made under pressure can have lasting consequences. Peace ensures those decisions are deliberate, not desperate. It keeps you steady when others are shaken. And in a world that thrives on urgency and noise, a peaceful spirit is not passive. It is a strategic advantage that turns pressure into opportunity. Obedience removes unnecessary battles. Many of the struggles people face are not assignments. They are consequences of ignoring instruction. Obedience is not weakness or blind submission. It is disciplined alignment with wisdom, greater than your impulses. It is the decision to follow direction, even when emotion suggests another route. And that decision eliminates conflicts that were never meant to be fought. When you resist guidance, you create friction. Delayed obedience often multiplies complications. A simple instruction ignored today can become a crisis tomorrow. Obedience protects you from detours that drain time, energy, and focus. It narrows your path to what is purposeful and filters out distractions disguised as opportunities. Most unnecessary battles begin with pride. Pride says, "I know better." Pride rushes ahead without seeking counsel. Pride reacts before understanding. But obedience pauses. It listens. It evaluates. It responds according to principle rather than pressure. That pause alone prevents many avoidable mistakes. Obedience also preserves emotional stability. When you follow clear direction, you avoid the internal turmoil of regret. Regret is a heavy burden. It consumes thought, disrupts peace, and wastes time replaying decisions that could have been prevented. Obedience eliminates that weight by keeping you aligned with instruction from the beginning. There is power in following divine order. Order creates structure, and structure creates efficiency. When you operate within boundaries designed for your protection, you reduce exposure to harm. You avoid relationships that compromise your integrity. You decline opportunities that conflict with your purpose. You refuse reactions that escalate conflict. Each act of obedience quietly removes a potential battle from your future. Obedience does not mean life will be free of challenges. It means the challenges you face will be necessary for growth, not self-inflicted through impatience or rebellion. It ensures that your energy is invested in meaningful progress rather than damage control. Obedience simplifies life. It clarifies direction, strengthens discipline, and shields you from avoidable warfare. And when unnecessary battles are removed, you are free to focus on what truly matters, building, growing, and fulfilling your purpose with strength and stability. Discipline in the morning determines victory in the day. The first moments after you wake up are not small. They are strategic. Morning sets the tone, and tone determines direction. If your day begins in chaos, distraction, and reaction, you will spend the rest of it trying to recover control. But if it begins with intention, structure, and clarity, you move forward with strength instead of scrambling for stability. Morning discipline is about ownership. Before the world makes demands on you, you must decide who governs your time. When you rise with purpose, you send a message to your mind that you are in control. You are not a victim of circumstances or schedules. You are a steward of your hours. That mindset shifts everything. What you do in the morning shapes your focus. A distracted start weakens concentration. A disciplined start sharpens it. When you take time to think, to pray, to plan, or to prepare, you build internal order before facing external pressure. That internal order becomes your anchor throughout the day. Victory is rarely won in dramatic moments. It is secured in quiet preparation. Discipline in the morning strengthens your will. It trains you to act based on principle rather than mood. Feelings fluctuate, but discipline remains steady. When you choose structure over impulse at the beginning of the day, you are more likely to maintain it when challenges arise. Morning discipline also protects your energy. Instead of rushing and reacting, you move deliberately. You prioritize what truly matters. You eliminate unnecessary tasks before they steal your time. This clarity prevents fatigue that comes from constant decision-making under pressure. The day will test you. There will be interruptions, unexpected demands, and moments of tension. But if your morning was anchored in discipline, you respond differently. You are calmer, sharper, more focused. You are not easily shaken because your foundation was established early. Win the morning and you increase your chances of winning the day. Control the first hour and you influence the next 23. Discipline at sunrise becomes strength by sunset. Faith replaces fear with focus. Fear scatters the mind. It magnifies obstacles, exaggerates risks, and whispers worst-case scenarios until clarity disappears. It pulls your attention in every direction at once, draining energy before you even take a step forward. But faith gathers your thoughts. It centers your perspective. It redirects your attention from what could go wrong to what must be done. Fear is rooted in uncertainty. It thrives on the unknown and feeds on imagination without control. When fear dominates, decisions are delayed, opportunities are missed, and time is wasted in hesitation. Faith does not deny uncertainty, it confronts it with confidence. It says that even if you do not see the entire path, you trust the one who does. That trust narrows your focus to the next right step instead of overwhelming you with the entire journey. Focus is powerful. It channels energy toward purpose instead of panic. When faith governs your thinking, you stop rehearsing failure and start preparing for progress. You stop asking, what if it falls apart? And begin asking, what is my responsibility in this moment? That shift alone transforms productivity. Faith also stabilizes emotions. Fear triggers reaction. It pushes you to retreat or overreact. Faith steadies your heart. It gives you patience under pressure and courage in uncertainty. Instead of freezing in doubt, you move with intention. Instead of shrinking back, you step forward. When fear is removed, distractions lose their grip. Many distractions are simply disguised anxieties, comparisons, overthinking, unnecessary conflict. Faith filters those out. It keeps your eyes on your assignment. It strengthens endurance when results are not immediate. Replacing fear with focus does not eliminate challenges, it changes how you face them. It allows you to concentrate on growth instead of gossip, preparation instead of panic, action instead of avoidance. Faith becomes your lens, sharpening your vision and calming your spirit. Fear divides your attention, but faith unifies it. And when your mind is unified, your actions become deliberate, your time becomes productive, and your progress becomes unstoppable. God fights battles you were never designed to carry. Many people exhaust themselves trying to solve everything, control everyone, and defend themselves against every attack. They carry emotional burdens, future uncertainties, and hidden fears as if they were created to manage the weight of the universe. But you were designed with purpose, not with unlimited capacity. There are battles that belong to your responsibility, and there are battles that belong to divine authority. When you attempt to fight every battle, you misallocate your strength. Energy that should be invested in growth is spent on anxiety. Time that should be used for preparation is wasted on worry. You cannot build effectively while constantly defending yourself against imagined threats. Some battles are distractions meant to drain your focus. Trusting that God fights for you does not mean you become passive. It means you discern which conflicts require your action and which require your surrender. There is wisdom in knowing when to stand firm and when to step back. Many conflicts escalate because pride insists on proving a point. But when you release what is beyond your control, you gain peace and perspective. Divine intervention often works in ways you cannot predict. Doors close to protect you. Delays position you. Opposition exposes motives. What appears as struggle may actually be strategy. When you stop trying to manage outcomes beyond your authority, you free yourself to concentrate on obedience and discipline. You were not designed to carry the burden of vengeance, ultimate justice, or complete foresight. Those weights are too heavy. Carrying them leads to frustration and fatigue. But when you surrender them, your spirit becomes lighter. Your decisions become clearer. Your focus sharpens. There is strength in trusting that unseen battles are being handled. It stabilizes your emotions and strengthens your patience. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with confidence. Instead of striving endlessly, you work faithfully. When God fights the battles you were never designed to carry, you are liberated to pursue purpose without distraction. You can build, lead, and grow, knowing that what truly matters is already under divine protection. Clarity in prayer produces efficiency in action. When your mind is clouded, your actions become scattered. You move, but you are not sure why. You work, but you are not certain toward what end. Prayer is not merely a spiritual exercise, it is a refining process. It filters motives, sharpens priorities, and removes emotional fog. And when clarity is established internally, efficiency follows externally. Many people waste time not because they are lazy, but because they are unclear. Unclear goals create unnecessary tasks. Unclear values produce conflicted decisions. Unclear identity leads to comparison and distraction. But when you enter prayer with sincerity and alignment, confusion begins to dissolve. You gain understanding about what truly deserves your attention. Clarity simplifies decisions. Instead of debating every option, you measure choices against purpose. You stop saying yes to everything because you understand your assignment. You eliminate activities that do not contribute to your growth. This selectiveness is not arrogance, it is stewardship. Time is too valuable to spend on what does not align with your calling. Prayer also organizes the heart. Emotional turbulence clouds judgment. Offense, fear, and impatience distort perception. But when you quiet yourself and seek guidance, your emotions settle. A settled heart makes sharper decisions. Sharp decisions prevent wasted effort. Efficiency is not about speed, it is about precision. Precision comes from knowing exactly what must be done and what must be ignored. Prayer provides that precision. It aligns your intentions with higher wisdom. It reveals blind spots you could not see on your own. It exposes distractions disguised as opportunities. When clarity leads, action becomes deliberate. You move with confidence rather than hesitation. You conserve energy because you are not constantly correcting avoidable mistakes. You work smarter, not just harder. Clarity in prayer does not remove all challenges, but it ensures that your efforts are directed correctly. It transforms scattered activity into focused productivity. And when your actions flow from clear understanding, progress becomes consistent, and time is maximized with intention and strength. Trust transforms struggle into strategy. Struggle by itself feels chaotic, painful, and often unfair. It can seem like resistance without reason, pressure without purpose. But when trust enters the picture, the meaning of struggle changes. Trust introduces perspective. It suggests that what feels like opposition may actually be preparation. Without trust, struggle produces frustration. You question timing, doubt direction, and become tempted to abandon the process. Every delay feels like denial. Every obstacle feels like punishment. But trust reframes those moments. It allows you to believe that there is intention behind the inconvenience. It steadies your heart long enough to learn from the difficulty instead of simply resenting it. Strategy is not always visible in comfort, it is often forged in tension. Muscles grow under resistance, character develops under pressure. Skills sharpen through repetition and correction. Trust keeps you engaged during that refinement. It prevents you from quitting in the middle of development. When you trust, you stop reacting emotionally to every setback. You begin to ask better questions. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this preparing me for?" That shift turns confusion into curiosity. Curiosity opens the door to growth. Growth reveals strategy. Trust also guards your mindset. Struggle can narrow your vision if you allow it. It can make you focus only on what is wrong. But trust widens your view. It reminds you that temporary discomfort does not define your destiny. It keeps you anchored when results are delayed. Through trust, even failure becomes information. Even rejection becomes redirection. Even waiting becomes strengthening. You begin to see patterns forming, lessons repeating, skills increasing. What once felt random now appears intentional. Struggle does not disappear when you trust, but it becomes purposeful. It stops being an enemy and starts becoming an instructor. And when you recognize that every challenge carries instruction, you move forward with confidence. Trust transforms what seemed like chaos into a carefully unfolding strategy designed for your growth and ultimate victory. So as you rise each morning, understand this: prayer is not escape. It is engagement with the highest authority. Surrender is not weakness, it is strategic positioning. Peace is not passive, it is power under control. Obedience is not restriction, it is protection. Faith is not denial, it is disciplined focus. Trust is not blindness, it is confidence in divine order. When you align before you ask, when you surrender before you strive, when you discipline your morning before the day disciplines you, you step into a life where battles are handled with wisdom instead of worry. You were never created to carry every burden, solve every mystery, or fight every conflict. Some battles belong to heaven. Your responsibility is alignment, obedience, focus, and trust. Let God fight for you and you will discover something powerful. You conserve energy for purpose. You stop reacting and start building. You stop striving and start progressing. You stop living defensively and start living intentionally. The victory of your day is determined before the noise begins. It is decided in quiet surrender. It is secured in disciplined prayer. It is strengthened in unwavering trust. Walk into each day with this conviction: I am aligned. I am guided. I am protected. I will not waste time fighting battles that are not mine. I will focus on my assignment while heaven handles the rest. And when you live that way consistently, pressure will not break you, fear will not distract you, and struggle will not defeat you. You will move with clarity, act with precision, and lead with confidence, knowing that the greatest battles are already under divine control.